members here are also members of the Judiciary Committee, and a few years ago we spent months putting together a comprehensive immigration bill. It passed the U.S. Senate, a bipartisan, about 65, 63 votes, Republicans and Democrats for it. The then Speaker of the House, even though there were votes there that would have passed it, refused to bring it up because it would have violated a rule they considered sacred, the Dennis Hastert rule. I think they call it something different now that former Speaker Hastert went to prison. Senator Reid?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney General, welcome. Mr. Secretary, welcome. You have described misinformation rather, and disinformation as fueling a great deal of this violent extremist activity. In your view, would a commission to provide information literacy tools that people can use to make sounder judgments about what they're seeing on social media, and this would apply to all communities, but there's a particular concern with veterans and service members. Would such a commission be useful? Mr. General, please.
Look, I think all forms of civics education that help provide education about misinformation that can lead to radicalization or misinformation in general would be helpful.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary?
Senator Reid would welcome the opportunity to learn the specifics. We're eager to have additional resources and additional vehicles to address misinformation and disinformation. I should say that our department is partnering with the Department of Education to develop a program in the K through 12 arena. And so to amplify that effort, we would welcome the opportunity to study the commission of which you speak.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, we have also seen increasing evidence that Russia is using this type of misinformation and disinformation to support and amplify a message of violence that we saw in Charlottesville, in the killing of George Floyd, designed to disunite this country, inflame racial tensions, and to undermine, in many respects, our democracy. And a recent joint assessment indicates that they are using the January 6th assault on the Capitol in such a manner to amplify narratives in furtherance of their policy, which is to disrupt and disunite and to indeed destroy, if they could, our democracy. So are you concerned about this nexus between Russia and these domestic terrorists?
Very much so. Senator, we are intensely focused on the information with respect to Russia's effort to sow discord and disunity in our country. And of course, we are bringing in all of government effort to respond to that. And I would welcome the opportunity to brief you in a more appropriate forum to address the information we have in that regard.
In this forum, can you give an indication of what you think the best way might be to do that?
Senator, some of the actions that we have taken certainly are public. We have imposed sanctions. We have attributed to Russia publicly the actions that we have learned they have committed. Those are two examples that I certainly can speak of in a public forum.
Thank you. One of my impressions from being on the Armed Services Committee is that there is a disconnect between our defense-related intelligence services, the Cybercom, NAS, CIA, et cetera, many because of constitutional issues of the inability of these agencies to operate in the United States. Has that left a seam in which it is being exploited, and are we making efforts to close that seam constitutionally?
Senator, you are correct in addressing the fact that some authorities are domestic in nature, others are not. The issue of seams, of course, is a long-standing one. We are very, very focused on closing any seams that remain or any residual of past issues. We're very, very focused on and developing resources to address that.
Well, Mr. Secretary and Mr. Attorney General, if there are legislative initiatives that are required to close these seams or to disrupt the flow of disinformation, please forward those to not just this committee, but to other committees of jurisdiction and interest. And thank you all for your service, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Senator Shelby, Senator Leahy. Oh, he's back now. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Attorney General, Mr. Secretary, welcome, and thank you for all you do.